Hey everybody, this is Steve from On the Vertigo, and you are on the VertiSHOW. And we've got a good episode for you today. We're going to talk about some serious stuff. I'll introduce myself. I'm Steve with On the Vertigo, and this is the On the Vertigo podcast. Man, we stuck past this.
Damn it!
Thanks for joining us for our podcast. My right-hand girl, the OGGG, we have this week. We missed her last week, but we have Adrienne Smith from South Carolina in the house. Say hi, Adrienne.
Hi, guys. My baby boos. I missed you. I hope you missed me as much as I missed you.
We missed you.
And you know who else missed you, Steve?
There.
Oh, there she is. It's Miss Daisy Duke.
Oh,
she's coming in close to give you a kiss. And look, she got her little shorty shorts on. She's saying bye-bye now, and she's going to go back over here and sit down till later. Bye.
For those on the podcast, that was a Barbie dressed up with Daisy Duke shorts for Steve.
Just for me, my Catherine Bach. Okay, Adrienne, welcome back. We know you had a trip last week. How'd that go?
It went well. It was very tiring. I had originally had this trip planned, but it turned into something else, which was fine, but that added to the stress, the pressure, and didn't really enjoy why I had originally planned to go. These things happen, but it went well. I've been exhausted for 2 days.
Yeah, I know. I just spent 5 days and 4 nights out in the middle of nowhere mountains in Crested Butte, Colorado, camping in the Blue Whale. If you don't know, if you're new to our show, the Blue Whale is my camping van that we take on my bike trips. And my wife, Emily, and I, we do trips in the Blue Whale, long weekend trips. And we take it all around the mountains of Colorado. And I usually post stuff on Instagram from that. So I've got mosquito bites all over me. So I'm itching like a bitch.
I was wondering about that. Was it chilly at night up there and you still got bit?
It was chilly. It was chilly.
Well, I don't know why they biting your ugly ass.
I know. I've got a bite right here. Nobody can see it if you're just listening, but on this toe.
I see that. You got a bite on that little. Oh, damn, Bo.
Giant mosquito bite, and I've been scratching it for 2 days. It sucks.
Well, they make the cream, a corticosteroid.
I don't use that. I don't use that.
Yeah, or alcohol. Why, you dumbass?
Because an itchy toe is nothing compared to my Meniere's disease. So it's like
better have itchy balls, I guess, right?
I always do that. That's okay. All right. Well, glad you're back, Adrienne. And we both
thank you.
Much had a little bit of a trip last week, and I'd also next need to introduce our producer and director, Dizzy DJ D, and he's with us today. So say hi, Dave.
All right, so I wanted to tell everybody that On the VertiSHOW can be seen on our YouTube channel. That's On the Vertigo YouTube channel. Click subscribe. We want subscribers. You want to subscribe out there. We know you do. We're also on Podbean for audio podcast download and iHeartRadio. And that covers that. On Facebook, we are Meniere's On the Vertigo. Come and check us out there. And new information today, you can search us as a fundraiser on Facebook. If you go to click the 9 little dots at the top right corner of your Facebook page, you'll scroll all the way to the bottom. You see fundraiser, click on that, click on nonprofit, and then you can search On the Vertigo and make us a fundraiser. It's super easy, very labor unintensive, takes a second, and then just put it on your page and roll it. It doesn't even have to be for your birthday, but it can be. So give that a shot, everybody. Please help us keep the lights on.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to say, that we don't come on here and beg for money, but we did start a nonprofit, and it does take some financial stability to do that. as far as paying for our host site that hosts our website. We have to pay for things per month just to keep this going as far as a nonprofit. We hope that you will join in and help support us financially, but we're not NPR. We're not, we just would like, we need some finances to keep the lights on. So if you feel it in your heart that we're doing a good thing and that it matters to you and the people around you, I know for a fact it matters to the people with Meniere's disease. So please help us out. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Last week we.
Wait a minute. Do I need to get my serious glasses on now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Adrienne's doing a wardrobe change if you can't see what's going on.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Well, last week, On the Vertigo stumbled across a post someone made, and it's going to be anonymous, but it really struck home with me as something that we need to talk about today, Adrienne. So I'm going to pass the ball back to Dave and let him read this post because it just drilled me square in the heart and I haven't stopped thinking about it. So if I can't stop thinking about it, then I know other people, it's going to be important to them too. So Dave, introduce what's going to happen here. And then Adrienne and I are going to have a topic that we're going to discuss that I think is very serious.
All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I found a post when I was just looking through the Meniere's support boards. It's a public post. It wasn't a private one. So we are going to keep it anonymous, but I thought that it meant a lot for there's an ongoing discussion about, I mean, I don't want to lead the witnesses here for later, but there is kind of a discussion about, when you have Meniere's or a chronic illness, do you push yourself through it to do better and greater things? Like, are you, when people bother you, and just like get over it and push through it? Or is it good to accept yourself where you're at and pretty much be good with that and not feel guilty? So anyway, this was a good post on that. And I edited it a little bit to just for the flow of this, but it's still the same content as the original post. I'll go ahead and read it. OMG, the push through it crowd can take a flipping hike, venting a bit today and want to get this off my chest. It is not possible to understand this condition unless you have it. It's simply just not possible. The push through it mantra is so naive related to chronic Meniere's symptoms. When you are permanently dizzy and out of balance, every second is a push through moment. When the tinnitus is roaring with various pitched ringing, listening to anything or even generating a new thought is pushing through. The list goes on. When I am not pushing through, Mr. Hey, why don't you just push through it? They have no clue how insensitive it is to throw some measly cliche out there when I or we fight every effing day to maintain some level of calm, hope, and normalcy. Of course, there are times in life when we all need to persevere and break through mental or physical obstacles, but this is different. It's not the same as having a bad cold with a headache, but still going to work in the grocery store. While I hate that this disease struck me, I've battled to accept these are my cards. Unfortunately, this isn't five card draw poker, so I could exchange some cards. I'm okay, but I want others to understand dealing with Meniere's is not an easy push through it situation, and it's infuriating when they make something I work tirelessly to cope with sound so mild and inconsequential.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Just wow, just wow.
That's fucking heavy. That's so
Nailed
fucking heavy.
Nailed it.
Because this is going to be a good discussion for us, Adrienne, because last week, 2 weeks ago when you were on, we talked about, things that come up and surprise us during the day and that we're like, oh, that amps our anxiety up. And like spontaneous things that we're not expecting can throw our anxiety up. But this is a whole new thing, this push through. And I've been thinking about this for the last week since I read this post. And that post was, first of all, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant post. It was straight from the heart. And that person obviously has Meniere's disease. And I'm sure other chronic illnesses can relate also. But when he was just like, he or she, I don't know which it was, but when you just have to push through anything, it's difficult. Like he mentioned, you know, when you got tinnitus ringing in your ear and you're in a discussion, and say you're in a loud environment like a restaurant, you know, we are pushing through that. You know, it's not just the times where unexpected stuff comes up. Getting out of bed, we're pushing through what we feel like to be able to do what we need to do.
Mhm.
So what's your thoughts on the pushing through thing there, Adrienne, as far as like right now, like doing this show, me and you, Adrienne, we're pushing through. We are trying to set aside how crappy and shitty and fucked up we feel in order to do this show. And we're pushing through. So it's like, tell me your angle on that real quick and we'll keep discussing.
Well, you and I push through, and that's why, and all of us others that suffer, that's why we call ourselves warriors, for one thing.
Yeah.
We know what we have, and we know what we need to do to
Yep.
quote unquote push through a day of shit.
Yeah.
So pushing through is what we do. The other thing I want to add about the push through is when people say, oh, well, you look fine. Oh, well, it's not like a cold. Oh, well, you know what? It's a permanent fucking incurable disease.
Mhm.
Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
Google that shit, ask questions, but don't sit there and tell me, oh, well, you've got something wrong mentally, or you have a mental health problem, or you have this. No.
Yeah.
Take the time to understand what is going on with the people that you're dealing with on a daily basis, whether it's your family, your coworkers. So yeah, we push through because that's what we have to do.
We have to.
No doubt.
Like, it's not like we feel a little bit bad and it's like, hey, go to the grocery store, just push through, go to the grocery store, because that the anxiety that comes with that is crippling. The feeling of dizziness is crippling. Walking down an aisle with the fluorescent lights, all this shit is crippling. And so us just to do the simplest things, we are pushing through. And people think, oh, you know, just push through it. You'll be okay. You know, it'll get better. It does not get better, people. It does not fucking get better. Now,
No.
adapt to it. Yes, we can adapt to it, and we have adapted to it, but we are pushing through a pile of shit, because you have normal people that are healthy, making tons of money and living their life. Then you have poor people that are struggling and trying to make ends meet. Then you have people that are, you know, have other health issues and stuff. And I'm not comparing my disease to anybody else's. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a competition, but Meniere's disease and vestibular disorders, we are at the bottom. We're 50 feet below the pile of shit that most people have to deal with. And we live at 50 feet below the pile of shit. That's where we live. We exist there 24 hours a day, every waking moment. Even when I'm dreaming, I had a dream last night, Adrienne, and I had tinnitus in my dream. And that's the first time I've had a dream where I've thought, oh, you know, I need to tell this person I can't hear very well in my dream. And it was the most bizarre feeling, because now my disease is entering my subconscious to the point where I'm dreaming that I'm sick. And I used to dream and feel like, oh, I can hear and I can move and I have good balance. But now my dreams are all fucked up. So
That's not good. That's not good.
No. But we live 50 feet below all the shit most people deal with, you know, and it's
They
all.
have no idea. They have no idea.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I wanted to say to equivocate, if that's a word, is that I'm always on the Vertigo Instagram, Meniere's on the Vertigo Facebook, and I'm like, hey, go out and do something you love, go out and do something and make a difference. I try to motivate people that have a chronic illness to do something good so that they'll feel better about themselves. But I don't want you guys out there to think that I don't understand how hard that is.
Right.
Okay. So when I ride my bike across the country, people are just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing that. And people with Menieres freak out because they're just like, that's an impossibility. But I push through to do that because I want you guys to see that we can do some things. You can do stuff to make yourself feel a little bit better and have some self-worth, but it's few and far between. My bike rides are an anomaly with my life. My camping trips, they're an anomaly. It's not like I get up and get excited. I'm not excited to do that stuff, but I know I have to do it. So I just wanted to let people out there know that I'm not saying on the Vertigo, we're about hope. We're about inspiration. We're about giving people an attitude of wanting to do something to make themselves feel a little bit better about themselves that day. But we know that is very, very fucking hard to do. Like
Absolutely.
It saps us. And so the exhaustion of it is just unbelievable. Go ahead, Adrienne.
No, I was just going to say, no, you're right. I mean, just like me making my trip last week, or any trip that we make, you're all anxiety and all, you get that in the works before you go. And then you push through it, you manage your meds so you can do it. It's not easy. And you push through just the way we push through life. But yes, do something you love if you can. Just like you said before, if you can even just get out of bed, rock on.
Yep. Taking a shower, positive, go for it. But that shit
I know that for you, that's a challenge.
I know. And the other day it was kind of funny because my wife's had a coworker that said, I'm kind of dizzy. I don't think I want to come into work today because I'm getting kind of dizzy. And my wife later on asked me, does it piss you off when people say that they're dizzy? And I said, well, it used to. It doesn't as much anymore, but man, it used to piss me off because I'm like, you don't fucking understand what dizzy is. Okay, you stood up too quick. Whoa, a little head rush. We're not talking about that. We're talking about crippling, chronic disease, dizziness, nausea, balance issues, ringing in our ears, vestibular migraines, laying in bed for days at a time. This is a disease that kicks our ass 24 hours.
Anybody with any vestibular issue, MD,
Yeah.
BM, the BPPV, the crawling to the bathroom, the vomiting, and trying to push through a day, it sucks. If you don't have it and you don't educate yourself on it, you have no idea what we go through every day.
Yeah. So on this topic of pushing through, Adrienne, what do you do when you just can't push through? What does that look like? Because we both know that there's times where we just do not push through because we cannot do it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So what happens when you hit the wall and you're just like, I cannot push through? Explain what that's like.
I either end up in the lazy boy chair, or on the couch, or in my bed. If there's something that has to be done on that specific day, whatever meds I can take, my steroids, anything that makes the rest of the day happen, I will push through, make it happen, and then I'll just come home and collapse. But some days I'll wake up, that tinnitus is roaring, nausea, and I just tell Chris, I just can't today. He says, well, sit on the couch all day. Oh, some people don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
They just don't. And, but I have done things before with full on vertigo that I probably shouldn't have done, but knew I had to.
Yeah.
I had to push through it, and it sucked.
Yeah. I think, and that's where I think the emotional issues come in, the depression comes in when we can't push through because we feel like, at least for me, I'm going to speak for myself, not everybody out there, but you feel like a failure. You know, you feel your self-esteem just takes an ass whipping all the time when we can't push through. You know, when I have to lay on the couch all day, you know, it's not. I said it in the book, On the Vertigo, One Sick Man's Journey to Make a Difference. It's like people are like, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to lay on the couch and watch TV all day," and it's like, no, it's not enjoyable. You know, I'm doing it because that's the only way I can get through my day is laying down. So laying down is my go-to, but you feel like shit when you can't, when you have to do that, when you're stuck like that.
Yeah, you do. And I always tell, oh, Chris, I'm just so sorry. I just can't today.
Yeah.
But he's, you know, it's all good, but I feel bad about it. I can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got something to kick in, if it's cool.
Yeah.
This is going to sound like coming from the super naive non-Meniere's guy, but you know, you guys know me. You can take it with a grain of salt, but this is what I was wondering.
You're the voice of the general public that doesn't get it. So
all right, but if you feel like you need to kick my ass, then feel free. All right. So I mean, when you guys were talking, I was wondering, of course, this is no comparison. So of course this is no comparison, but what I'm wondering, so like I would say my greatest accomplishment that made me feel like I can't believe I did something that I never thought I would be was the first time I ran a marathon. And the second, and I was just like, that was like the peak accomplishment for me. The second time I ran a marathon at 53, I was in so much pain. I didn't feel anything but pain. But setting that aside, when you accomplish something, maybe not something like taking a shower, though I know that's a huge accomplishment sometimes relative to how you feel. Like Steve, when you got done with your bike trip, do you have a sense, does it give you a sense of accomplishment at all that, oh my God, I did something that was damn near impossible? Or does that just still not even register because you just feel like shit so much all the time?
That's a great question. And to be honest, no, I do not feel a sense of accomplishment. Like it's just what I do to try to bring awareness to our disease, but it's not like I get done and feel like, oh my gosh, I did something fantastic there. And a lot, you know, like that was so great. And I, you know, that like, I'm going to mark that as a big accomplishment. No, I do not. It's just, being on the bike or being on the couch is just another day being sick. So that's the thing that people don't understand, that when you have Meniere's disease or another vestibular disorder, BPV, VM, there's a bunch of them, maldebarkment, your accomplishments, it's not like you chalk them up and you put them in your pocket like, hey, I can build on that. Because it's just, that's what you did that day. Whether it was riding my bike, whether it was taking a shower, whether it's going to the grocery store, whether it's laying on the couch, to me, I don't even know how to explain this. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because it doesn't, I don't feel like I used to before I got sick. You know, I used to work very hard for a living, and so did Adrienne. We worked hard jobs, and I went to work every day, and I would go to work with a cold or the flu. My work ethic was huge. I have a great work ethic, and this disease has knocked me on my ass. And so I used to be able to say, oh, I accomplished things, but now I don't feel, even when I accomplish things, it doesn't give me the fulfillment it used to. It's just another day. I'm just trying to get through today. And then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and just try to get through tomorrow, whatever that's going to look like. So yeah, I do not, after both bike trips, it's not like I was like patting myself on the back and thinking, oh, that was so awesome, and I can't wait for people to see that and appreciate me. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care. All I want people to do is realize that when they see me doing these things, that they realize, okay, maybe I can do something with my disease, whatever chronic illness that is, MS. I mean, I can't even name all the chronic illnesses. We're at the bottom of the barrel, but no, I don't take that as an accomplishment. I don't feel that way. Now, other people may feel like, wow, you just accomplished something big. And before I was sick, maybe I would have been like, hell yeah, you know, fuck everybody. I just kicked ass on a road trip on my bike. That kicked ass. And I'm gonna use that and I can stand on it. No, I don't stand on that. I just did it because I wanted people to see that people like us are out there. It's just the awareness that people are out here and we're sick and we're suffering. So no, I don't bag an accomplishment ever. Even my camping weekend, I didn't bag it as an accomplishment. I did it. I enjoyed it for what I could. I tried to enjoy it the best I can, but it still wasn't that great. It was, I just did it and I'm glad I did it because I needed to do things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. I mean, an accomplishment for me is being home 2 days and finally unpacking my suitcase. Yay.
My bag's still packed. I haven't unpacked yet.
Getting my laundry going. Yay.
Yep.
All right. If I can follow that up a little bit, because as you were answering, I thought of something else. So if you don't have kind of the sense of accomplishment that say like I would have after running a marathon or something like that, is there in the midst of both of you having this disease, is there some kind of a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction that you have gotten off your couch and done these things for awareness for other people? And I would throw to Adrienne also that for people who don't know, I'm not just buttering Adrienne's bread because she's on the show with us, but she does a lot for other people, like a lot for other people that are sick, sends them things, is super thoughtful, thinks about them. And you can speak, Adrienne, to whether you might have been like that before your disease and stuff like that, or maybe this is something that's deepened your resolve there. But does that sense of purpose and, you know, how does that ring in your heads?
Well, you mentioned sense of purpose. Since I hooked up with you two idiots, you know, it is more of a sense of purpose for me. But I have always fought for individuals who are ill, who are hurting, who have less. I like to make people feel that someone is listening to them. They have somebody to speak with, but most of all, that they have somebody who is listening. Mm-hmm. I like to put a smile on somebody's face who is not feeling well. Yeah. When I visited our friend on the way home with that basket from West Virginia, it was so emotional. And she is still texting, just texting, that I've made her feel so good. I like lifting the spirit within and giving somebody just a little hope. And I've always been that way. I got that from my mother. But like I said, since I hooked up with you two blokes, it's driven me more in the direction of helping people with this disease and not just as I help people in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me that first of all, Adrienne, that was a great answer because Dave and I know you well, and we know that you mail people stuff, you send stuff all over the world, even if it's a little gift, a little, you know, it could be a scarf, a handkerchief, a rock, bones from a bird. I mean, you figure out what people like and you figure out what is important to people, and then you make it your goal to meet them on their ground. And I think that's awesome. So kudos to you. Fucking awesome. For me, I know Dave and we put out a post a couple months ago where we're trying to kind of show people what On the Vertigo is, because it's a very vague thing. It's not like we don't have a solid physical goal. Like, I applied for a grant in my neighborhood and they're like, well, what are you going to do with the money? And I'm like, I'm going to make people inspired and give them hope to go out and do something good. And they're like, well, if we give you this money, you could buy 100 bike helmets and pass them out since you ride your bike, and you could do that. Like, but I'm like, that's not what we're about. We're about making people feel like, hey, you can make it through tomorrow. And so On the Vertigo is a very vague thing. And that's why we have a hard time raising money, because they want to give people money that are going to dig wells in Mexico for villages, which is totally legit. They want to send rice to people that are starving. That's totally legit. I get that. But we don't have that kind of a purpose On the Vertigo. We're more emotionally and psychologically trying to support people to feel like you can get through tomorrow without blowing your head off with a gun, and that's important shit. But it's a very vague important shit. But to us, it's very important. And to the people that have Meniere's disease, it's very important. But there's a difference between saying, hey, I want to raise money to feed the world, than I want to raise money and make people feel better about themselves.
Right.
Because people are like, you should be able to feel better about yourself just because you can push through it. But you know what? You don't push through it and make yourself feel better when you're sick like us. So there's this break in reality on what our nonprofit does compared to what most nonprofits do, which makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
But,
and if I can kick in on that, being the one who's running this thing or trying to run this thing, I mean, it's not about poo-pooing at all, but the deal is like Steve's saying, it's a very intangible and kind of nebulous mission that we have that is having an effect. It's having a huge effect. And I mean, look, me and Steve, we didn't get together before this show to just like say these things to try to raise money. Like, this is completely off the cuff. I just want everybody to know that. I'm sure American cynicism is enough, and I probably would have been, like, oh, these guys are just, they're just going to start talking. We're not. We seriously don't care if we don't make a dime or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that lately, as we've been trying to get funding sources outside of the Meniere's community, because the Meniere's community has supported us a crazy amount, like beyond, and we don't want to look to that to be a prime source of our funding. We want a corporate funding source that pours into the Meniere's community, not trying to get the resources out of the Meniere's community just so that we can give them back in. We want to get outside to bring them into the Meniere's community. So when I'm trying to explain to people what we do, that's the kind of thing that Steve's talking about. And what I know is that when we are wanting to raise funds, or we have some ideas and we just don't have funds or whatever, and then it's like, what are we going to do? But I know, and I tell Steve and Adrienne and everybody that's around me all the time, like, they might even be sick of me saying this, but it's like, this has a huge effect. This has a huge effect, and it kills me to think that we wouldn't be able to keep doing this. And this isn't a Jerry Lewis telethon cry session that I'm getting into right now. The reality is that this is really helping people. This is really helping people. And if we, for any reason, we can't do it ever again, then that's fine. And it is what it is. But it's like, just every day and posts and comments that I get and things that I read, I feel like, God, I hope we can keep this going.
This matters. And
it matters. And yeah,
like I was saying earlier, we put a thing out because we're trying to raise money, and we put a thing out to say around our community to say, could you send us a video on what On the Vertigo means to you? Just so that we can show other people how we're affecting them. And we got one from Jara the other day, and I'm going to throw her under the bus because her video, the video from Bones from Switzerland, the video from Lisa Thompson last week that came in, That's
And
why
Adrienne.
we're doing, and Adrienne's video. But when you watch these people on these videos, like, that shows me that we need to keep doing this. And that being said, I still don't feel like, oh, this is a huge accomplishment for us, because we're just OTV. We're on the Vertigo. We don't care if we raise $1 or $1 million. I'm just seeing people around the world that are sending videos that matter, that what we're doing does matter, and it affects them hugely. And I
Yeah.
forget that often because I do crawl into my little bubble. Like I'm sure you do, Adrienne. I'll take 3 or 4 days and not check social media. I'll lay on my couch or in my bed, and I just don't want to deal with anything. Then when I open it up, I see all these people saying, thanks for that, thanks for this. You guys are inspiring me. You guys keep going. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, I think you have done a wonderful job in putting all of this together. And it is touching that this means a lot to you. You don't have Meniere's.
Yeah, totally.
You just deal with your idiot brother and your crazy OGG friend. And but it means a lot to you that you know that you're helping others. And that's what's important.
Well, and I've heard their stories. I've heard their stories, and I'm friends with many of the people that you all are friends with now. And I mean, at doing this as a work, I'm immersed in it. And it's kind of like, I think I mentioned a line in Steve and I's book where I said, it's like, I think I've learned, but then I realize I don't have any idea. And I'm still running in every day, especially in ways that especially in ways that I've treated Steve where I'm just like, I can't believe that I know the condition that he's in, and I still treat him like crap sometimes or whatever. And, I'm sure everybody has spouses and friends that you can relate to that. It's like, because of all I know and of all I've heard and all the stories that I've heard of how difficult this is, some people were asking me at a dinner party the other night, like, what's this like? And I'm like, this is what doctors say is the most difficult thing to deal with. It doesn't kill you. And people just kind of have this blank look on their face. And I'm like, no, really, this really is. And, and in the years I've known these people and studied it and seen Steve with this, it's like, I can believe that. But.
No.
Well, we appreciate you because we couldn't do that without you.
No way. No way.
Well,
This would not be happening without your support, Dave, and without you getting in touch. And I know people in MWW and all the other sites that you do attend and follow. I know those people. First of all, it's funny because they probably know you better than they know me now, because you're in contact with people I'm not in contact with. But that being said, in the next upcoming weeks, we're going to have some more guests on that'll tell their stories. And I'm super excited about that. So I'm lining up some more guests. And these aren't famous people. These aren't doctors. These aren't world-renowned physicists and psychologists that are going to give us answers to our problem. But like Adrienne said earlier, these are going to be people that are just going to share their story. And I want these people to be heard, because I've created a situation where people have heard me. And if anything, that's the only thing that matters to me. It's not my accomplishments. I don't feel great that I've done these bike rides. I don't feel great about starting a nonprofit with you, Dave, and starting a podcast with you, Adrienne. Those don't matter. But what matters is that I'm hoping that we're getting enough of a platform to where other people can share their stories and say, I feel like fucking shit today, and say it on our podcast so that they feel like people are hearing them.
Well, I like people to share their stories, and I like to share them in a fun way as well.
Exactly.
Way.
I knew today was going to be pretty heavy duty, because pushing through, I'll be thinking about that. So that'll be my new term. We'll be pushing through. And there's times I won't, there's times I will. But Anyway, that's enough on the serious topic. If that's okay. I'm starting to melt down.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that was
just
good.
That is a hands down fair dinkum top-notch idea. Fuck yes, mate. Fuck yes.
All
So
right.
coming up soon, we're going to have a lot of people with Meniere's disease and other vestibular disorders just to tell their stories, because if they feel heard, they're going to feel better. That's what makes me feel good, is being heard. So we want this to be a platform for other people to be heard, not just us three shitbags doing this dumb podcast. Anyway, enough. Great. Good job, you guys. Dave, let's go to the mailbag, because I know
We have time for mailbag. We do have
Yeah.
time for mailbag.
We have time for mailbag.
Yep. Bring it.
All right, here we go. We had, so everybody was so excited about mailbag last week that we got like thousands of more emails in. And
Thousands and thousands.
over the weekend, while Adrienne and you were on vacation somewhat, I sifted through them all. And I pulled the ones that were the best. All right, so you guys ready?
Yep.
Ready. Bring it on.
All right, so Jim in Gary, Indiana wants to know, Steve, when you and Adrienne go to bed at night, which side of the bed do you take and why?
That's easy. If you're, okay, say you're staring at my bed from the foot of the bed, I sleep on the left side. I
And
do that-
Adrienne's on the right.
No,
No,
no, no.
Not
No,
the same
no,
bed.
no, 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 no.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
I'm on the left side. You get whatever side I'm not on.
Well, the reason I sleep on the left side is because if I'm on the left side of the bed, I can lay and look at the wall with my good ear into my Tempur-Pedic pillow, which completely deafens that ear. Then I have my tinnitus on the left side, which I'm deaf on. So if I lay in a certain way and I'm on the left side of the bed, I'm basically completely deaf at that point. And I sleep really well that way because I don't hear birds chirping. I don't hear traffic. I don't hear people yelling. I don't hear parties. If I lay on my right side with this on my pillow, and that's my bad ear, my left ear is my bad ear. So if I put my good ear down into my Tempur-Pedic pillow, then I sleep good because I'm completely deaf at that point. So if you came in the room and asked me a question, I wouldn't even hear you talking. So that's why I sleep on that side of the bed.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
I just sleep on the left side because I can escape my husband quicker. That's all that is.
You keep the door closer.
I think Jim was thinking you guys were married, but they are actually married to other people. So let's have the disclaimer. The disclaimer. All right.
Okay.
All right. This question is for Adrienne. It's a two-parter. Can you name Barbie's 3 younger sisters?
And I should know this being my granddaughter, but we don't have all the sisters. But I do know one of them is Skipper.
Yes.
Because she was the beginning Skipper. And then the other 2, I don't know because they've come after.
Okay, Chelsea and Stacy. All right,
No.
here's the bonus. Here's the bonus, Adrienne. And you are going to be your granddaughter's. She's going to think of you as the hero of all time if you get this one. What is Barbie's actual last name?
Teletubby. I love the Teletubbies. I used to
Mattel.
I used to smoke weed and watch the Teletubbies, and I freaking loved it.
Oh, I need to try that.
No, it's awesome.
Disclaimer, if you're the police, he used to live in a non-weed legal state, so the statute of limitations applies. Okay.
It is
Barbie's
legal
last name is Roberts. Barbie Roberts.
Never knew that.
I know. Nobody, I don't think anybody ever did.
What's Ken's
All right.
last name?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we got another mailbag that just came in from Craig in Denver as we were on the Barbie theme. So, Adrienne, my daughter pulled the pants off Ken the other day and discovered he has no penis. His crotch was just smooth and she was horrified. What should I do?
Slap that man.
Oh,
Slap that man and go buy an LOL doll because they are anatomically correct.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
LOL brand dolls have little boobies and penises. Oh yeah, that's why we don't allow our granddaughter to have that.
You can get a Sharpie and draw some junk on there.
I mean, Barbie got a little
Oh.
booby, but you know, she
Oh.
got no nipple or anything.
Okay, so now she's pulling up Barbie's shirt, and we're probably going to get in trouble with the FCC. So here we go. On to the next one.
You're gonna make Chappie want to go take a cold shower after seeing
All right, Steve, Peter in Kokomo, Indiana wants to know if you could be any character on Twilight, who would you be and why?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know you love Twilight.
I don't know what his name is, but I would be Bella's dad, because I love that guy, because Bella's dad is like the cop of the town. He's like the sheriff or whatever. And he's completely clueless on all this shit going around, because
Nice.
there's like vampires, there's werewolves, there's people getting eaten around his town. And he just goes to the diner and just eats crap every day to get by. That would be me. I would be Bella's dad in Twilight, because I would love to just be that stupid to not be able to realize how much shit's going on around him. And I thought the guy was brilliant in the show. He's my favorite character in Twilight. Trust me, I love Twilight, read all the books, I watched the shows repeatedly. And every time that cop, that Bella's dad's on screen, I'm just like, that's who I want to be.
Adrienne shaking her head. Do you have an answer for that, Adrienne? Are you out of Twilight? You're out of Twilight?
Out of that Twilight, no man.
Okay.
I don't like
Okay.
that.
All right, here we go. The next one, Glenn from Edinburgh, Scotland wants to know if either of you could be a character on Stranger Things, would you just outright punch Joyce in the face or give her a jar of Xanax and tell her to sleep for a week?
I don't watch Stranger Things. My son does, but I'll take a jar of Xanax.
You want to sleep for a week?
That would be nice.
I love Stranger Things, and I'm halfway through season 4. And I would like to be the kid with the curly hair and wears the trucker hat, because Stranger Things at this point on season 4 sucks, because how many times can that little town be ravaged by demons and nobody get it? And then the next year they just go back to school like everything's normal. But I do love the kid, the chubby kid with the curly hair that wears the trucker hat, because when he's on the screen, I just love watching him. So I would be him.
That's true. He is the best character, and you're correct that those people would be in so much therapy 24 hours a day. It's not even funny, especially after season 4. Good God.
But I do have a little bit of a crush on 11. She's cute. I think that's, if I was in high school, I would have been hitting on her.
Well, I know that, like, you know, I didn't live through anything that happened in that town, but after season 4, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to deal with seeing a grandfather clock the same way ever again. So I'm kind of disappointed that I used to really like grandfather clocks. So that kind of sucks.
You just busted it for me. Nice job.
Well,
You fucked it up for me, Dave.
That's not a spoiler alert. They did grandfather clock on the first episode, buddy.
I don't remember that one. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to jump to getting to know you?
Oh, come on, man.
You don't like getting to know you?
Beautiful bastards, here's me face.
Go ahead.
Are you just okay? All right, here we go. Do you want to talk about Barbie a little more, Adrienne? Is that your disappointment? Okay.
I do.
Oh, there's Barbie again on screen. Okay. Getting to know you. Here we go. Adrienne, first, would you break the law to save a loved one? Come on, Adrienne, you'd break the law without saving a loved one. Come on.
Depends on how much life insurance they have. Or if I was in the will.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So wrong.
That was a really good answer, though.
That was a good answer.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Steve's my brother. I know he would break the law just for fun. Doesn't even have to be to save somebody.
Absolutely. I do it just for fun.
Especially in his town, but don't let the cops know that.
Oh, you got a friend who would judge, you ain't worried.
Adrienne, we had a good question last week for Brian that I wanted to throw by you. Steve's already answered it. Who would you want to be your partner on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, Probably the race car driver that won that year.
Bubba Watson, Bubba Wallace.
It was an Indy driver.
I don't know.
He's a foreigner, an Indy driver.
Oh, like Dino Franchielli or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Adrienne, you're so fucking redneck. You're like right down in the NASCAR belt. That's so redneck.
I hate NASCAR. I don't even watch NASCAR.
She's lying. I can tell by the look on her face.
No, I don't.
So, Adrienne, can you guess what my answer was last week, or did you watch the show?
I did watch, but do you think I remember? Oh, you said Judge Judy.
Bam.
Oh
Judge
my
Judy.
goodness.
Damn, I did remember. Yay.
And they would
I
dance
can't
to the
believe you
theme
actually
song.
watched the show. I can't believe you actually watched the show. Okay.
My mother and I used to watch the show the first couple times it was on. Of course, my mother's been passed, so I didn't watch it since. So,
All right, here we go. Have either one of you ever run out of gas? And where?
Are we talking gas in cars or gas in ass?
I know you haven't run out of ass gas, so we'll talk about car. Stranded somewhere?
Ate a lot of baked beans on this last camping trip, so I was farting like crazy.
oh my God, your poor wife having to sleep in that van with you.
Well, she ate beans too, and it was a battle.
It was a battle.
Okay.
Won the battle. I've never run out of gas. I'm always thinking one step ahead. That's how I stay a step ahead of y'all too. One step, always planning ahead. Don't look at me like that, Steve. I find
it hard to believe anybody has not run out of gas. Like, man,
I've not run out of gas. I remember once
Wow.
Emily and I, my wife and I went to Moab, Utah, which is 5 hours from our place. And when we first moved here to Colorado, we were like, we have to go to Moab, which is like the mountain biking capital of the world. And on the way home, it was like 2 a.m. We were driving home, and we were driving in a 1986 Trans Am Firebird, and we were like below empty. And we pulled off an exit, and the gas station was closed. So we had to keep going. And I thought we were going to run out of gas, and we ended up finding a gas station at the very, very, very last second. So I've never run out of gas on the road, but I have ran out of gas in my stomach.
Oh my God.
I like the fart. There's nothing wrong with farting.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Have you ever been on TV? Adrienne?
I was as a child.
Nice.
Yep, it was in the Philippines, and it was like a talent, type show, and us girls, and we did the hula, the tiny bubbles hula, and that was our little segment.
Okay.
Wow. That sounds like a audition for sex trafficking. I don't know. That's
Oh my God. Oh my God.
As an adult, no, I have not been on television.
Have you ever been caught in sex trafficking?
No.
When I was like 5 or 6, I was on a show called the Uncle Al Show in Cincinnati, because that's where we lived. And my older sister Karen and I were live and on the Uncle Al Show, and it was kind of like a howdy doody, but it wasn't national. It was like just local. So yeah, I've been on.
That
We
sounds
have
like
We have a show like that here in Charleston called Happy Rain.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't watch that shit.
Like what was the one when we were growing up? Mr. Magoo or Captain Kangaroo. Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like that's what the Uncle Al Show is, like a Captain Kangaroo, but it was local Cincinnati. But I was
that's
on.
true. All right. Okay. If you could challenge anyone to a boxing match, who would it be?
Adrienne. I'd beat the shit out of you.
Steve, I would drop you like a bag of dirt.
Dude, I think that one of these days, Adrienne and I need to get into those big giant bumper suits that people wear and just go at it and bounce off each other. And I will knock you to the moon.
All right. Nice. Okay. We all want to see that. Last one. What song makes you dance uncontrollably?
Well, there'd be several songs that would make me dance. Anything with a beat, I'm all up in there.
I'll beat you
Anything with a
down.
beat.
I'll beat you down, even though you're a grandma. I'll give you a beating.
Look,
Man,
they don't
he's-
call me the OGG for nothing.
He's still on the boxing question.
What's that song by The Weeknd about? What's that? I have to move every time I hear it. Is it by The Weeknd or is it by
Something
Bruno
about
Mars?
I can't feel my face.
That's a good one, but it's the one that came out after that.
You, but I love it. But I love
The one after that, I don't know.
I don't
And
know.
probably not many others do too.
There's a really popular song like two years ago, and when I hear it, I just have to move. I can't remember what it's called. It's not. I
All
can't feel my face.
We'll
But
have
then-
that for you next week.
How
All right.
about Happy by Pharrell?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
can
It's
read your
Pharrell. Yeah,
mind.
yeah, you can read my
that's a
mind.
good one.
Read
That's
your
a good one.
fucking mind.
I'm gonna have to get
That
out
is
my
true.
for that because you read my mind. Yeah, it's that happy that happy. Well, I'm not gonna sing it.
Happy
That's
if you
good.
want, if you feel like a room without a roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
you
that's-
called. You called
That's
it.
a good one.
Okay.
All right. We are going to wrap it up for this week. Go to our website, www.onthevertigo.org. You can donate there or you can get Meniere's resources. We have been working hard and collecting info for everybody around the world. Check it out. And
Thanks. I'll see you next week.
And if
Peace
you have a
out.
question that you want to throw in the mailbag, just text it to Dave at what's your email, Dave?
Dave at onthevertigo.org.
Yep. Email Dave at onthevertigo.org. Send your questions if you want. We're getting thousands weekly, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And great week. Thanks. Love to see Adrienne. Love to see you, Dave. And we will have some good guests coming up. They'll share
yeah.
their story.
Really
Oh, yeah.
glad to be back with y'all. Really glad to be back.
On the
All right.
Vertigo.
People feel better, man.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace out.